Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kerrville Weekly News Roundup, hosted by the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. I'm Andrew Gay, Zach Green, Tom Fox. We're going to run over our top news picks for the week. We're going to do a little mashup today. Usually we individually pick our top news picks for the week, but we got 6 or 7 headlines right here in front of us, local headlines, and we're just going to toss them around and talk about them. So I think the number one thing for me this week was the KPUB loan that they got approved for their new gas machine that is over in Rice University, right? Is that right?
I can't remember where they're going to construct it, but this is a huge deal for us in Kerrville, yes. Andrew. Kudos to KPUB for putting this together. This comes through a program from the state of Texas for a low-cost interest loan to create natural gas, which can be used for electrical power, and that's exactly what KPUB has done. I thought the plant was going to be somewhere in central Texas for a cost reason. Nevertheless, KPUB is the first utility or entity in the state of Texas to take advantage of this. There's been lots of negative press about this program, but KPUB has persevered through this. They have talked about it for about a year and a half. It's going to help Kerrville not only have lower prices, but equally importantly, we'll have our own gas supply for the foreseeable future. And given everything that's happened with ERCOT since 2021 and the snowpocalypse, that's about the best news we can get. So we're going to have hopefully lower pricing, but also a more stable and steady source of energy to run KPUB.
Yeah, and I find it interesting they're the first ones in the state to kind of spearhead the whole thing.
Well, they're the first ones in the state to finish the process to get the loan proceeds. Sure. So, I mean, kudos to the entire KPUB team.
Well, that was my top pick for the week. What about one of y'all? Y'all want to pick one of these other ones and talk about it? Zach, you got one?
Yeah. Hate to bring the bad news, but
you're going to be the bearer of bad news today?
Kerrville County Sheriff's Office arrested about 18 people on solicitation of a minor, one of them being Dr. Sachs, a dentist in town that a lot of people knew. So just thank your local sheriff and watch out where you send your kids.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. I think you were at the economic summit that they had the FBI security guy come and talk, and they gave that story about, it was a story like that, and I think it was over some social media app or something, and it was soliciting like that from a minor, and he told the story and didn't say where it was, and he said, do y'all think this couldn't happen in Kerrville? And some people are like, yeah, and then he says, yeah, well, it was, and it's very eye-opening. It's really scary. So thank God for the work the sheriff's office is doing here. What do you got?
Along the same vein, we actually had a murder conviction in Kerrville. Gabriel Alaman was convicted of murder in a capital murder case that took place in 2021, the underlying killing of the individual. So sad news. On the other hand, as Zach indicated, law enforcement did their job, and here in this case, the courts, the prosecutor, and the jury all did their jobs as well. So to me, it shows really the system works, even at the terrible cost that was involved.
All right. So, Tom, you want to talk about the pillar of our Kerr County community, Bobby Templeton, announcing his retirement?
Yeah, Bobby Templeton, Dr. Robert Templeton, formerly. Although if you ever call him that, he says, no, it's Bobby. He is currently, to the end of the month, I believe, the superintendent of the Ingram School District, Ingram Independent School District. He's announced his resignation to move into the private sector. He is, without a doubt, one of the most innovative school superintendents that I've ever had the pleasure to know. He's a big bear of a guy, tall and strapping, well-spoken. He went to Ingram. He had been principal at Tivy and then moved over to Ingram. And the innovations he put forward there are just stunning. He does things as basic as no internet in the cafeteria. I mean, how brilliant is that? And so if you go to lunch and talk, you go to lunch and talk. You actually have to talk to somebody. And but the thing that I think is the most innovative, he set up a program where every Ingram high school senior graduated with 2 years of college. So either an associate's degree or 2 years of college credit that they can transfer to any university in the state of Texas. That's at no additional cost to the students. It was part of their high school curriculum. And yet every Ingram student graduated with that. And it is just a brilliant way to bring top-notch education to a high school, but also give the students something of value. And I've heard Bobby talk about this numerous times, and he's very plain spoken about it. If you want to take this and use it as a way to run a Sonic, that's great. If you want to use it as a way to go to UTSA, University of Texas, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Sul Ross, it doesn't matter. You can use those credits. And it's a great way to get ahead. It's a great way to help families who could not otherwise afford to go to college. Well, then they now have 2 years down already done, and they can get funding to go for 2 more years to get their kids, even if no one in their family's ever been to college or graduated from college, a college degree. And I wish there was more publicity about this. I think it's one of the most innovative things I've ever seen in a high school. And it was really just Bobby and a bunch of guys sitting around talking about income disparity in West Kerr County and what can we do as a school district to help fight it. And that really shows the innovation that a school district can bring to a town and a county.
Yeah, it's astonishing, honestly, that he's able to pull that off, and it's impressive. And I'm really happy to have him in our backyard and proud. 2 more things we want to talk about before we get off. One is next weekend. We would be remiss if we did not mention that next weekend is the 4th of July. And here in Kerrville, we do this big celebration called Kerrville's 4th on the River. And a bunch of people go down to Lewis Hayes Park and do a bunch of adult beverage to be had down there by the park. And they're singing, and they always have a big headliner. It was Robert Earl Keen for years. He has since kind of
guess who's headlining this?
Well, hold on, man. That's what I was going for. Is like, did they make the announcement?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then this morning that we still didn't know this morning. So go ahead.
Robert Earl Keen will headline this year, 4th of July on the river. And this is free. He is obviously one of the jewels of our community, but he loves playing here and he gives it his all. And we don't know how many more shows he may have in him. He's retired a couple of times now, but he's back for 2025. So if you've never seen him, or if you've seen him 30 times,
all right,
get your tail out to the Louise Hayes Park for the 4th of July celebration.
That's right. And speaking of the celebration on there and adult beverages, my wife and I will be volunteering at the beer tent this year. So first time ever doing the volunteer thing, but I'm really looking forward to it. Always do every year. All right. Last but not least, we want to mention our artist friends at the Hunt Art Fair. So I know you mentioned Nancy Huffman. I think Elaine Capers. These are the Magnificent Seven ladies, right?
Deanna Eichsman, Laura Williams. We've got several of them out there. Hunt Art Fair this year being held at the Hunt store. So they've really, I think, brought it together for the community of Hunt. Being at the Hunt store, it's a really cute little venue, and I think it'll be perfect for them. If you're hearing this on Saturday, please go out to Hunt to see the Hunt Art Fair. It's the Magnificent Seven. It's many of the artists who've been on the Texas Hill Country Artist podcast, and that's a great way to support local artists. Let me also shout out to there's a kids theater doing Finding Nemo this weekend. So if you've ever been a part of a kid in a kids theater, you know what a big deal it is. So check out Finding Nemo. It's going to be a lot of fun as well. So a lot going on. Unfortunately, we will not be having an episode on the 4th. So this will be our last episode, but we'll be back the weekend after the 4th.
Don't worry. You won't miss us too much. We're not going anywhere. Oh, also, just one last plug. We have Zach hosting the Hill Country Hustlers podcast, which is a local small business focused podcast. So if you guys know anybody that owns a small business or runs a small business here in the Kerrville or surrounding areas, we would love for you to reach out to us. We have a spot for them to come on a podcast and tell their story and share a little bit about them and their business. So we'd love to have any in all of y'all. So please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much. We will see you back here next time. Have a good weekend and a good week and a good July 4th and safe July 4th.
This is Tom Fox. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Kerrville Weekly News Roundup. This podcast is a production of the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. If you've enjoyed this podcast, I hope you will subscribe or rate and review this podcast wherever great podcasts are listened to. I hope you'll join Gilbert, Andrew, and myself next week, where we take a look at some of the top stories from Kerrville and the surrounding hill country area. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be off the week of July 4th.